Since Bible literalists claim that harmless things like homosexuals are evil, and all the world's scientists are either conspiring against them or are unanimously dumber than a trucker with a fish logo on his mud flaps, perhaps they can answer some questions for us while they're busy keeping the Sabbath holy, legally banning fellow Americans from worshipping different gods, legalizing human slavery, avoiding shellfish, shunning men with long hair, have hundreds of wives and concubines, raping single women, stoning kids to death, fortune tellers and gays also, just like the Bible tells them so. Before we begin, I would like to point out that even though hardcore believers will give an answer to these questions, you'll probably find that you will get many different answers to the same question, strangely as if they were searching for an excuse to defend what they know is utter nonsense. Number 1. Why does an all-powerful God need 6 days to create a universe and man, instead of creating it all at once? Is it too difficult for him? Number 2. Why does an all-powerful God need to rest? Are his muscles not getting enough oxygen molecules after 6 days of using limitless magic? If God were just setting an example for humanity to take a rest on the 7th day, why doesn't he just say, "Okay people, rest"? Number 3. Why would a perfect being create lesser beings to feel loved and then punish them if they don't love him? Isn't that something a pathetic loser would do? Number 4. What makes God a he or a him? Does he have a Y chromosome and a penis? Number 5. Why did God create trillions of planets that we can't even see, even with a standard telescope? I mean, if the universe was just created for us humans, you'd think there would be a point to making all the other shit. Number 6. If the universe is 6,000 years old, why do we see light from stars that are billions of light years away? You do know what a light year is, right? Number 7. Why aren't we the center of the universe, instead of being one speck of dust within a dust bunny, surrounded by other dust bunnies, behind a couch covered in pizza boxes in the guest bedroom of Unit 407 of Building 5 in an apartment complex that God owns in Tawnytown, Maryland? Aren't we supposed to be important? Number 8. Where did Cain's wife come from? It's just Adam and Eve, they had 2 boys, one kills the other, the remaining boy wanders off to a populated city that was just there, and he finds a wife. What the fuck? I've asked this question in the past, and I've gotten plenty of answers. Here are the top 4 answers that I got. She was his sister who must have wandered off as a child to a city full of brothers and sisters born from Adam and Eve. She was a distant cousin. This would mean that Adam and Eve had siblings that came from somewhere that wasn't mentioned. Adam and Eve were not the first people, but for some reason God needed to make them from scratch. And the 4th one is that the Bible doesn't have to make sense, but you should take it literally anyway. Number 9. Why did a perfect, all-powerful God create men that needed their foreskin removed by human hand? Did the perfect, all-powerful, intelligent designer make a mistake on purpose? And why did he suddenly change his mind when Christianity was invented? Number 10. Why would an all-powerful God make a drunk old man build a cruise ship to save every single animal species? So God's powerful enough to create all the animals in the first place and flood the entire planet, but he just can't keep the animals from drowning or make new ones by himself? Number 11. Why does an all-knowing and all-powerful loving God create people he already knows will go to hell before he even makes them? Is this perfect loving God a sadist? Number 12. If God knows everything about the future and he's perfect and all-powerful, why does he get angry when he finds out something bad happened and never lifts a finger to stop it from happening? If you know something bad will happen and you can stop it, why on earth would you be angry at anyone but yourself when it happens? If God were angry at himself, he wouldn't be perfect, now would he?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
Number 13. If we have free will, and God knows we will choose door number 1, how do we have the free will to choose door number 2 without proving God wrong? If God knows you'll pick door number 1, you can't pick door number 2. If you can't pick door number 2, you don't have free will. Number 14. Why is it that Leviticus, the famous book of the Bible that allegedly proves the loving God hates homosexuality, also says you should kill disobedient children and you can purchase slaves from any country but Israel? Number 15. Why can't we marry more than one wife if half the men in the Bible were not punished for doing it? The Bible is full of characters that God has no problem with having more than one wife. In some cases, hundreds of wives and concubines. Number 16. Jesus literally promises in the Gospels of Matthew, Luke, Mark, and John that if you believe in him, you'll get anything you pray for just like a genie. So why do Christians still have problems? It can't be a parable or metaphor because the passages refer to people who specifically wish for a fig tree to wither away, and the Bible says it literally happens before their eyes. So who lied about prayer, Jesus or the humans who wrote the Bible? Number 17. Why do obvious miracles like parting the Red Sea, water into wine, and flying zombies curiously never seem to happen after the Bible is concluded? Did God lose his power? Is he bored? Did he get sick of saving the Jews when Hitler nearly exterminated God's chosen people? Did he have something against Christians on 9/11 but felt he had to help some athletes win the Super Bowl instead? Number 18. Why doesn't God talk directly to all of us at once and explain what he really means, instead of relying on an exclusive club of humans to decide what to print on paper for the 20% of the world's population that can't even read? Yes, that's right. 1 out of 5 human beings are forced to take the word of fellow sinners that they're neither lying about God nor too stupid to interpret the Bible correctly. Is that an intelligently designed system created by an all-powerful perfect being? Number 19. If God regularly gives deadly diseases to small children, why would he bother answering your prayers? Kids are painfully dying of cancer while you're expecting the space genie to grant you a raise. Number 20. People claim all the time that God saved their life when they survive a disease. So why did God give them the disease in the first place? Number 21. Why doesn't this all-powerful loving being ever grow back an amputee's limb? Wouldn't an all-powerful loving God cure things that we can see with our own eyes? Or just conveniently when the magic takes place behind a curtain? Number 22. Why does God create Siamese twins, mentally retarded people who can't learn the Bible, stillborn babies, miscarriages, and people who live in remote places where they will never hear of Yahweh or Jesus? Number 23. Why is Jesus cool with human slavery in Ephesians 6:5 and Luke 12:47? The way these passages are written, it might as well include etiquette tips on how to properly rape a baby so that God won't be upset about it. Number 24. Why don't Christians believe the word of Mormons and Scientologists? Is there something about Lord Xenu, magic underwear, and going to other planets after you die that are just no match for the logic that you should telepathically inform a flying, water-walking Jewish zombie with magic powers that you accept him as your master so he can make you live forever by removing an evil force inside of you that is there because a rib woman was once convinced by a talking snake to eat from a magical tree? Next thing you know, they'll be telling me these crazy other religions believe in a man who lived in a giant fish, a talking bush, a 930-year-old man made from dirt, an old man who builds a cruise ship to store every species on Earth, and sends the marsupials exclusively to Australia, all the way from the Middle East. Oh wait, that's not crazy, because the Bible said so. And finally, number 25, if the Bible is written thousands of years before knowing the earth was round by unknown human beings who claim that an invisible man whispered it all to them in private, why should we trust that these imperfect beings are not lying to us any more than a used car salesman with a meth addiction? Well, that's it for now. I'd like to come up with more questions, but YouTube's got a 10-minute limit, and I'm just exhausted, and I got shit to do. Alright, well, you guys think about all those things I just asked, rewind it, play it over again, come up with your answers, post them, all that stuff. Be sure to check out all my other videos. They're a lot funnier than this one.